Hi, I'm Kristen from Femme Cyclist, and today I'm here with the Cero One. This is an e-cargo bike. It's commonly referred to the style of bike as a cycle truck. That's because you'll notice it's got a smaller front wheel than it does a rear wheel. And this allows you to have a nice big cargo basket or rack up front and carry a lot of weight here while still keeping the bike very stable and balanced. It also feels very balanced because it has a low center of gravity. As you can see, this bike is actually pretty low down to the ground. And that's nice because a lot of cargo bikes feel wobbly or hard to balance when fully loaded, and this one feels incredibly stable when you ride it. There is in terms of cargo, we've got this front rack. It holds 55 pounds, and this rear rack also holds 55 pounds. The rear rack, I've been putting panniers on it. You could also put a basket on there. You could put a rear child seat. I actually went ahead and put the Burley dash on this, and it fit on there really well. You can put the Maxi on here. The one thing is, if you are buying this specifically for riding with children, you should note that it's only 55 pounds. So once you get the bike seat on there and you get the kid on there, you're not gonna have a ton of time before they outgrow it. It doesn't have any kind of deck or running boards for children, bigger kids to ride on this bike. So this is very much a little kid hauling bike, but it's still an option, and it's certainly a lot easier if you're trying to fit a rear child seat on a regular bicycle. This is a Class 1 e-bike. It does not have a throttle, and this makes it totally legal to ride wherever you want. You don't have to worry about any legalities riding this bike on the streets. That said, it does not have a throttle. So a throttle can be really helpful for getting you started when at a stop, especially when fully loaded. So that was one thing I noticed on this bike, was that it was hard to get started when I was at a stop sign and I had a lot of gear on the bike and I had to get going again. The one thing that's super unique about this bike is just how low maintenance it is. It has a belt drive on it, and it also has an internally geared hub, so you don't have a derailleur to worry about, and you also don't have a chain to worry about getting rust. It does have a mid-drive motor on it. This is a higher quality motor than the hub drive found on a lot of cheaper e-bikes. It's super smooth, it engages really well. You never feel that jerky feeling of the motor coming on and off like you do on some hub drive bikes. It is a 250 watt motor, so I got around on it just fine, but there were times where like especially going uphill, it didn't feel quite as zippy as a higher watt motor would. That said, I was still able to get fully loaded up the hill to my house, which is quite a feat. So it is very capable. You're just gonna have to put in a little more effort than you might on a higher wattage bike. The electric system is run by this LCD display. It's a really nice display. It showed the range, which I really liked about it. It shows the range that you have remaining, how much miles you can still go on the remaining battery life, and each of the 3 power assist modes. So I really liked that. The other thing that was great about this bike was it's actually fairly easy to ride even without the e-assist on. So if you do get caught a couple miles from home with your battery run out, I was still able to pedal it, which I can't on some of my heavier e-bikes. So that was a plus. The stem handlebars here is adjustable via a quick release. And one thing I didn't love is that there's no quick release on the seat post collar. So if you wanted to share this between your spouse and yourself, your partner and yourself, you might want to put a quick release seat post on collar on there. If it's just you, then you don't need to worry about it. It comes standard with an Avis wheel lock, which I really love because sometimes you forget to bring a lock along with you, and here it's integrated into the bike, and as long as you have the key along, you'll never be without a lock, which is fabulous. This is a higher end e-bike, and it really shows in the components that have been stocked on it. They haven't cut corners anywhere. We've seen a lot of e-bikes coming onto the market that save some money by putting on off-brand components. And this bike has all brand name components, everything on here. Is Shimano, the drive system is Shimano, the drivetrain is Shimano, we've got hydraulic disc brakes that are Shimano, Even things like the saddle and the grips are Ergon, so even those things are brand name. Just know that everything on here is gonna function really well and also be durable and last you a really long time. And I think it's worth spending that extra money to get this quality of an e-bike, especially if you're gonna be riding it a lot. It's got fenders stock on it as well as the racks, and that's something that if you don't buy a bike already with those things, it can be sometimes challenging to find enough eyelets for both a rack and baskets, so we like that about this. It also has eyelets here on the fork, so if you wanted to mount an additional bag or something there, you could do that. The pedals are a little bit different. They are a platform pedal with like some sandpaper type surface, or like what you would put on a skateboard. And I actually really liked that. I found they were nice and grippy with my regular shoes that I was gonna wear around town for daily life. It's got an integrated front and rear light, and you turn that on with the LCD display. I like that. You don't have to worry about taking your lights inside to charge in between rides. You're always gonna have lights on the bike with you. Anyway, this is a little higher end bike, but if you are a person who wants to replace a lot of your car trips, this is the kind of bike to do it on. One that you know is gonna last a long time, that has a high quality motor that local bike shops are going to be willing to work on. A lot of local bike shops aren't going to be willing to work on cheaper, lower end e-bikes, and this one has one that is stocked with high-end components, and they're going to be willing to take this bike in, which is a nice thing. If you can afford it and it meets all of your needs, I would highly, highly recommend the Cero One.